Evelyn to Philip, V-mail, February 9th, 1944, 4 p.m. Dear Sweetness, your V-mail of February 1st, 1944 came through today, setting a new record for delivery of your V-mail. I don't know why you left yourself so low on funds. I'd rather wish you wouldn't. I said before that I'm not counting on any special amount, just as long as you send whatever you can conveniently spare. I want to save, yes, but I think you are entitled to more than $19. Thanks for your sweet thoughtfulness, darling, and your unselfishness. I'm surprised you are able to remit in the amount of $5, as you said you could only send tens. I really only expected $60, and I'm a bit surprised, as you said that the check would be in that amount. I am in no dire need of cash at the moment. I was last month, but working for Miss Hahn saw me through, and expect my large check on March 1st. Consequently, the complete $75 will be turned into a $100 bond. It is the most we ever saved at one time since our marriage, and it makes me very happy. I hope you felt the same. That night you mentioned when Red came in is very vivid in my memory, and I too would love to relive it, and soon. Adele and I were building houses with her blocks today, and she kept throwing down what I laboriously built. Ray is coming to dinner tonight. I've ordered another box of chocolates for you from her. I love you, sweet. Your Ev. Philip to Evelyn, February 9th, 1944. My darling, this is the first opportunity I have had to continue, as you shall hear, at length. I just finished reading over what I had written and was appalled that I had covered so little ground. I'll pick up the thread where I broke it. Leaving the baths, I went directly to the Hans Crescent. Still no Eddie. So I engaged a bunk for that night and took off for the Eagle, where Junior had said he would try to meet me for breakfast. He didn't show up either. I ate breakfast, therefore, with only the newspaper for company. After that, I stuck around in the lounge until noon, which was the deadline Junior and I had agreed on the previous night. When my wristwatch, still running like a charm incidentally, showed 12 o'clock, I proceeded round the corner to the Odeon to see Phantom of the Opera. I was remembering your raves about it and looked forward to a truly wonderful picture. Well, Chippy, I can appreciate why you thought so highly of it. After all, page 2, was very colorful and lavishly produced, and the music throughout was edifying, if unexciting. And Susanna Foster is very lovely, and her voice leaves very little to be desired. But, Chippy, you didn't see the silent version of this one with Lon Chaney, and couldn't therefore make any comparisons. I, on the other hand, remember it vividly because it made an indelible impression on my mind at the time. I assure you, speaking strictly from the point of entertainment value, the silent is by far the better effort. The element of horror and mystery that is meant to be the dominating motif is subdued almost to the point of extinction. Lon Chaney was very effective in the title role. I remember Harry got very sick when the mask came off and the true face of the Phantom was revealed. The women in the audience screamed and fainted, so horrific were his features. The chandelier sequence was a thing of heart-stopping suspense, not the rather silly theatrics of the current picture. On the whole, Chippy, I was mildly entertained and very disappointed with the sacrificing of the qualities that could have made it a page 3 great picture. to get on. Whoa, sorry, sweet, I put the cart before the horse. I saw Phantom of the Opera in the evening. The afternoon was spent at Albert Hall. This time I got a seat close to the stage and got a close-up view of the orchestra and the soloist. I am enclosing the program, which was as delightful as it was varied. Till Eulenspiegel especially caught my fancy. I don't think I ever heard it played so effectively. Iso Ellenson is the typical long-haired musician. He appeared to be an eccentric and to have copied his attire and big bow tie and thick bushy hair, worn long in the back and neat Van Dyke beard from the comic strips. He is in his 50s and stockily built. As you can see by the program, he played Mozart. For your information, sweet, Mozart's piano music is very distinctive. Its main qualities are lightness, capriciousness, and a very listenable tunefulness. What I'm driving at is that Ellison didn't look the type to play that kind of music effectively. I felt when I saw him that I was in for a disappointment. Page 4, disappointing performance. However, I had forgotten that appearances are often deceiving. I was soon reminded of it, though, because he gave a flawless performance of technically difficult music. More surprising, he played with a true feeling for the grace and charm that is so much a part of Mozart's music. Everyone likes to be pleasantly surprised, and I'm no exception. I enjoyed the concert very much, as per usual. Someday, sweet, you will have as great a liking and appreciation of symphony as I have. I've made up my mind to, quote, educate, unquote, you in this respect when I once again have the opportunity. Are you willing, baby? Well, I've already explained that I went to the cinema in the evening, but between the concert and the movie, I managed to stop back at the Hans Crescent to see if Eddie had showed up yet. Before that, I had supper at the Eagle. After the show, I again returned to Hans Crescent. Still no Eddie, so I had a snack and settled down to write in the writing and music room. I completed the first 7 pages by 12 midnight, and I would have written as much more in spite of the time had I not run out of stationery. Page 5. I spent a very restful night at the Hans Crescent, sleeping like a log and dreamlessly. I woke at 10 a.m. I felt fresh and well rested, so I dressed and got out of there. I stopped at the desk long enough to leave a fresh note for Ed. Then I went to the Eagle Club for breakfast. I had to make a 5 o'clock train, which gave me ample time to see one more movie. This one was by far the best of the 3. Thousands Cheer is the best musical I have ever seen. It's in Technicolor and so many MGM stars that I don't want to take the time to enumerate them. You probably know who they are anyhow. Suffice it to say, then, that each and every one is at his best, with the result that the picture is just about the best of its type. So much did I enjoy it, in fact, that I sat through 2 complete showings, and might have made it 3 were it not time to catch that train. See it, honey. I'd hate to have you miss this one. You'll love it. The trip back was uneventful. I read detective stories all the way, and the hours flew by. And that, Chippy, was the end of another London pass. Next morning, I was very disappointed because no mail had arrived from page 6, you in my absence. However, there was a consolation prize. The Fanny Farmer chocolates, Hershey bars, and chewing gum had arrived the day before. The package was most welcome, but I think I would have traded it for a nice long letter from you, sweetheart. But I guess that would be asking for too much. Thanks a million, baby. By the way, weren't hankies supposed to be in the package? Or am I confused again? Tuesday afternoon, yesterday, I received a letter from Ed explaining that he couldn't make it because he couldn't get a pass. He was disappointed too, of course, but he asked me to meet him in London on the 17th, which I am making every preparation to do. But I told you all about that in yesterday's email. Today I got a bright idea and wrote again. I wrote yesterday to Izzy telling him of my plans for the 17th and asking him to try to join us. If all goes according to plan, we'll have a regular reunion. Nothing else of note has happened since I got back, except that I had gobs and gobs of chocolate ice cream yesterday. And when? Page 7, I say gobs and gobs. I guess you know that's a lot. I haven't yet answered your longie of January 8th in the manner it deserves, but I will tomorrow. Your email of the 25th of January, can you imagine, arrived this afternoon, and I was delighted to learn that Jack N. finally got around to see you. Hope you had a swell time that night, honey. I'm eagerly awaiting your letter telling me all about it. It is now after 11, and the boys want to know, quote, what the hell are you writing? A book? End quote. So I guess it's time to call it a day. Hasta mañana, carissima mia. Kiss my daughter. You ought to see my chest swell whenever I write it. For me, her ever-loving daddy. My love to all. I am, just as always, your adoring hubby, Phil. Letter from Ruth Paller, Evelyn's sister, dated February 9, 1944. Dear Phil, how are you? I received your letter of January 30th, and as usual was very glad to hear from you. Those cards you sent me some time ago are certainly going to come in handy. In history, we are going to study about some of the historical scenes in England, Ireland, France, and many others, so I will be able to take them in for optional work. Boy, do we have some queer teachers over at Alney. One teacher, instead of teaching England, she walks around singing Pistol Tootin' Mama. I have a nifty math and bookkeeping teacher. Page 2, but our history and biology teachers are miserable. Do you remember Kitty Callan? The one who used to live around here, and her father has the barber shop at 8th and Loudon? Well, she used to sing with Jimmy Dorsey, and she and Bob Eberl were a team until recently when Kitty decided to go on her own and sing with Bing Crosby. It looks like Logan is getting classy, huh? That's about all the news for now, but as soon as something pops up, I'll try to beat Ev to it. Lots of love, your sister Ruth. Fancy, ain't I?